All right, everybody. My name is Harold Durana, and today our guest is Kasey Thatcher. So, Kasey, where were you prior to insurance, and how did you get here?
So right before I started in insurance, I was a full-time stay-at-home mom. But how I got here was I had worked at Lens Crafters right before that, and I had met Samir Palavra. We became really close, and we stayed in touch after I stopped working at Lens Crafters. And so one day I saw him post on social media about his insurance sales, and I was like, "What are you doing right now?" And so he actually had brought in our regional, or I mean, sorry, our store manager from Lens Crafters at the time. He had brought him into insurance, and he was like, "Hey, Kelly, Casey's asking about insurance," and Kelly immediately was like, "We've got to get her in this business. Give her a call right now." So that night, they three-way called me, and Kelly kind of knew my situation, what I was going through at home, and so he was like, "Hey, while you get licensed," this was when we were in person in home. And he's like, while you get licensed, I will pay you to set appointments for me because I know you need to get started. And I was like, okay. So he paid me 10% of anything that I booked for him that he closed. And I started seeing what 10% looked like. And I was like, wow. So I was studying, kept failing my test. During that time, became a full-time stay-at-home mom with absolutely nothing to my name, so pressure was on, so I had to pass this test. Finally passed the test and started diving into insurance. I got started. I was living in Michigan at the time. I bought leads in all the counties that no one wanted to work because I knew I could get into those homes since no one was going in there. So I bought that lead pack. I dialed the heck out of them. I had nothing to my name. So I took out a credit card, had no idea how I was going to pay it. Also, during this time, we lost Kelly. So that income stopped. So that was also something that drove me because Kelly had gotten me into this business and I knew there was a purpose for this. And it was to be able to give my daughters the life that I knew I needed to give them. So that drive was just there for Kelly, for my daughters. Um, and so I got a credit card. I had no idea how I was gonna pay it back, but I knew I was gonna make this work. Got my leads, dialed the heck out of them, went into all the worst parts of Detroit and closed business. And then I decided that I could either pay the bills that I knew I was gonna be late on, or I could pay my credit card and invest more in leads and take another risk. And so I did. And that just started trickling. And then yeah, here we are now.
Yeah, yeah. I always talk about your story. Your story is freaking amazing. And the other thing too is this: you took a bigger leap, and you went from being in Michigan, and you're like, all right, I'm moving to Utah.
Mhm.
And what sparked that? Like, why? Why did you just go? You know what? I'm going to Utah. Forget it.
So I had just gotten out of a really abusive, toxic, bad relationship. And it was me and my girls, and I did have my family close by, but there was a lot of stuff happening in those situations. And those past like 4 years prior that I had been living in Michigan, I've always been a very social person around a lot of people. I love being with people, but I was extremely secluded in those 4 years. I didn't really have relationships with anybody. And I was talking to Anita and Samir, and they were like, Casey, we know you. We know that you need to be around people. We're all here. We can be your community. You don't really have one to rally with you. So come out here. And I was like, shoot. So I took a leap of faith. I got rid of pretty much everything in our home. I threw it to the curb, packed up what I could in a U-Haul attached to my car, and drove with my daughters here and never looked back. That's when we started virtual too. So I was scared because we were going from in-home to virtual, and I was just like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to do what I'm doing. Like the only reason I'm doing this is because people haven't gone into Detroit yet to help these clients. So I was like, oh my God, like everything's going to change now. I like just moved my daughters, and I'm living in a basement, and I'm just like, what is happening with my life? And that virtual moment was the best thing that ever happened to us. It changed the whole entire trajectory of my life, my motherhood, my daughter's lives. So, yeah, moving to Utah was that was scary. That was a huge risk, but it was one of the best things that we ever did.
Another thing is this, and I know you've gone through, your ups and downs, and it's been a roller coaster. But talk about your mindset throughout that transition, and kind of your ups and your downs.
D My mindset was everywhere. It was to be quite honest, I mean, everybody looked at me like I had my life together, I was getting things going really fast, and in a sense, I was, because I came in and I was doing the things, but mentally, I wasn't taking care of myself, and so, while I was getting up and running in certain ways, I was crumbling mentally, and I went a long time without working on that, and eventually that took over because I wasn't able to work the same, I wasn't able to put in, I wasn't handling the things that I needed to handle to keep going. So anyway, my mindset I realized was I mean, it was killing everything. My career, my motherhood journey, my mindset had gotten so bad and I started using alcohol as a great escape and I started just really kind of backtracking in my mindset. I had come in and I was like, I feel empowered, I'm going to do this. And then I didn't take care of it. And so once my mindset got really crushed and I kind of hit my rock bottom, that's when I seeked out for help. I started going to AA and my mindset completely changed. Every single thing changed once I got a clear mindset again. So during this time, I'm not going to sit here. I think a lot of people think it's just been such an easy, almost 5 years. Um, and it looked like that to a lot of people, but that's a whole actually big reason why I didn't take on leadership or an agency. I was I was dealing with something so much deeper that people didn't know, and I knew internally if I couldn't lead myself, how was I gonna lead everybody else? Because ultimately, I didn't wanna get people in here and not be able to give them what I know they can give simply because I wasn't the person that I needed to be first. And so getting into sobriety and working on my mindset changed everything because it showed me that I can trust myself again and that I'm willing to do the hard things and I'm putting in the consistency. And I started building trust again with myself and my mindset started changing and it started getting strong again. And then that's when this business really started thriving. And yeah, mindset. I don't think if you have a weak mindset in this business, you can crumble so fast. It's the easiest thing. We already deal with so many ups and downs, but when you keep that strong and you understand the blessings that are right in front of you, man, it goes long ways.
Yeah. What has your support been during these ups and downs? How has your support been with the agency, the people around you? What has it been like?
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the support I've had in this agency. This has become a home for me. This has become a family. Samir was the person that I called at my rock bottom the night before I got sober. Staying on the phone with someone that brought you into this agency that, is your manager, but also just genuinely wants to see you succeed with everybody else to listen to some drunk friend up until 4 a.m. bawling, and then you just keep reminding them, like, Casey, you are so much greater than this alcoholic. Put the bottle down. We love you so much without this. Like, to have that type of support, there's a lot of people that could have easily given up on me. I mean, I walked away from this business plenty of times. I'd come in, I knew I could pop off in a week, I'd write some business, and then my life and my head would take right back over. And I'd vanish, and people mocked me. And behind my back, I know there was talk because it's like, well, Casey can never stay consistent. Casey just shows up and then leaves, and Casey does this, and it's like, I have to own that now. I know that now. That was who I was. Um, but because of the people rallying around me that somehow saw so much more in me than what I was able to see in myself at that moment, they pulled me through. They rallied around me. You guys all stood behind me. The second I was open about my sobriety, I mean, everybody was just like rooting for me. I didn't get people like, I had people that were cheering me on. And yeah, this community is the family that brought me here. So I couldn't have done it without these people, without everybody that I mean I love. Like
Yeah.
this is literally home.
Like I said, I love this. So I keep it's the best. I can't go wrong with your story. I love it. So for those of you guys who are out there and listening, it's like it's okay to hit rock bottom. It's okay to be in your head. It's okay to, go through tough times. Everybody does. Everybody has bad situations. It always happens, but you know, you you have the power and you can make the choice to change,
Yeah.
right? So that's important that that you're not stuck. That there's also people out there that are rooting for you and that want you to do well and you just don't just hide in your corner. That's important.
There's
So,
always people that are gonna root with you. But that's also the thing is you just have to stay vulnerable about it. Like, if you realize that you're just another human being trying to do your best, you'd be so surprised that
Mhm,
if you just talk to people about things, you're not alone.
mhm.
So when you're vulnerable about it and people can support you and rally around you, like, that's when you thrive. That's when you're able to make those decisions and stay right behind them.
Absolutely. So there's people out there that are listening that maybe we're in the same situation as you. Maybe moms in, stay at home mom, maybe want to do better for themselves and stuck in a situation or feel stuck and feel like they can't get anywhere or do anything and is just kind of settling for what they have. Like, what's your advice to them? What can you tell them?
Stop settling. Stop settling in every area because the opportunity that is right here, if you genuinely believe in yourself and you don't settle for what the bare minimum, like your whole entire life can change. But that's on you to actually believe that in yourself. And I'd be a liar if I told anybody that you're going to walk into this business and it's going to be easy, you're going to make money immediately. Like, no, you're not. You're going to have horrid, like a horrible first couple months, few months. You're going into something that's unlike anything else that you've ever done. But if you have the mindset that, like, I know I'm going to get through these hard times because so much greater is about to come from them, there's just nothing that can stop you. So if you are in those situations, that is like, it is life changing to come into this career, but you work your butt off to get started in this. You don't get the freedom of what this career can give you unless you develop the skill and the consistency and the work ethic in this career.
Mhm.
I think so many people come in and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go on vacations and I can take my daughters wherever. And I'm gonna be just like Kasey. So I'm never gonna miss this. And she talks about this. I worked my ass off to get there. I would stay up all night long watching YouTube videos because back in the day, we didn't have the resources we have now. Like every single moment of my life, while I'm cooking, while I'm changing diapers, I had an AirPod in listening. Like, what the heck is equity protection? Why are they pitching it like that? What I analyzed everything I could. I memorized everything I could. Any script that someone would give me, I'd look at it so I could figure out what worked for me and what didn't. I'd practice my tonality. I'd stand in front of the mirror. I grew up in theater, so I treated this just like a play. I was like, I am not ready to get in front of that audience. There's no way you can pull my curtains back yet. Like, I don't know when I'm going to have to pivot. If someone messes up this line, do I know how to, do I know how to improv that? And so I think honestly, like taking my past theater experience and like looking at it like that, it helped me so much because I'm like, okay, if they say that and my castmate forgets their lines, I have to handle that. I have to pivot. So I have to
Mhm.
be quick to think, right? So I just kind of chalk like I handled it like what I knew and I put in the effort. I made my daughters sit there and listen to me. They're 2 and 4 at the time, I think. Like I'm like, hey, rebuttal me. I don't know, say something, like give me something, throw it at me. But yeah, I wanted this so freaking bad, Harold, and I wanted this for my daughters more than anything. I knew that they didn't have another parent in their life anymore. So my daughters had already lost half of who they know, and that was really impactful to me. So if that was already something that I couldn't give back to them, I needed to do everything in my power to give them everything that I could, but also teach them how to do it. And I can't teach them how to do better in their life unless I'm willing to take the risk and figure it out myself. So I have a job as a mom. I have standards that I have to hit so my daughters know what that looks like. I'm a walking billboard for them. They're a sponge right now. My work ethic, everything that I'm doing, it's going to be replicated in one way or another. And when you know that and you put that effort into this career, man, like it changes your whole entire life. You keep that mindset strong and you're good.
For me, when I talk to like agents and stuff, it's you have people that depend on you. And, one thing I always told myself all the time was not on my watch, right? We're not going to go homeless. We're not going to fail. We're not going to be, down in the dumps. Not on my watch because I can control what I can control and what I can do, right? If I have to work 12, 14, 16, 18 hours, I don't care because it's not going to happen on my watch because it's not like my kids have a choice. It's not like they can go get a job, right? It's not
Mhm.
like they can go work. They're young kids just like you, right? It's just not gonna happen. And that's why I love hearing your story because you literally fully embraced that. It was like, not on my watch.
Mm-mm.
Like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I'm gonna put in all the time to study and learn and master my craft so that I can be the one to provide.
Oh yeah.
right? And a lot of people will, it's so much easier to just give up and let go and just be like, oh well, woe was me. But really digging deep and understanding your why, I mean, that's tough and it's great at the same time, because that's what's going to push you in this, in life, period. Not even just this industry, it could be any industry, but it's just pushing you, period. Your why is
Yeah.
very, very, very important. So, I mean, it's crazy, right? To go from living somewhere else, then you're over here, you're doing well, then you go into that rock bottom phase, and then having the power to uplift yourself and get yourself out of there. And now it's like it's crazy to see because like every month it's 40,000 from Casey, no matter what. It's like we already know. And it's crazy because it's like you were saying, like, oh, it's Casey, this and that and this and that. Now it's like, okay, Casey did 40K. Okay, whoop de doo. We already know she was gonna do that. It's not like it's like surprise. No, it's not. We already knew this. It's not like wow. It's like okay. I mean, it sounds terrible, but it doesn't,
No,
right?
it
It's
actually
just kind
sounds
of like
great
we already knew
because
this.
now people actually see consistency in me.
Yes.
So they're like, well, we know that. It's
Yeah.
not a like, is Casey gonna come through or not? And
Yeah.
like that's actually a huge blessing to hear, to
Yeah.
be honest. That shows me that like the work I'm doing is being seen. And that's the really cool part too, is like I'm not hiding behind anything anymore. I have my
Mhm.
story. Man, I hit my rock bottom. You want to talk about yours? Because I'll be right there with you. I promise. Like there's nothing you can tell me at this
Yeah.
point that's gonna phase me. But yeah, like it's that's really, really cool that now that consistency shows. You guys aren't wondering, is she gonna show up again? I am. I'm here, you
Yeah.
know?
You're owning your story and you're running with it.
Mhm.
Like amazing.
I want to help people, Harold. This this team, this community, this career, it already changes lives income wise. And we know that. But
Mhm.
like, how much greater is it if you can bring people in and help them provide the life that they deserve for their family and their income, but also like dig a little bit deeper and really be someone in their life that can like help them and change them.
Mhm.
And like when I pass away, yeah, I'm like, oh, Casey helped me in my career. Cool. But like, man, Casey sat there and she really talked with me about something and I was struggling and I couldn't talk to people, but because Casey was open about hers and she, she cared that much, like she said something and that hit and it changed the trajectory of my life. Like I just know that this career builds influence in such beautiful ways and I want
Yep.
to be able to do that for people. I have a story. I know what rock bottom feels like. I also know what coming out of that and feeling peace finally feels like. And it's like if I can help one more person to like to feel what I get to feel now, like why would I not share that with the world, you know?
Yeah, I agree. So it's again, there's a lot of people out there that they know they can do better, but they're in a weird situation.
Mhm.
So if somebody's out there and they're listening and they wanted to reach out to you and ask you more questions, again, just possibly getting into the insurance space, how can they get a hold of you? What's your Instagram?
Instagram is my first and middle name, so it's Casey Elissa, KaseyElyssa. Elissa, not Alyssa. Okay.
Love that. Absolute pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you
was a pleasure
so
being
much for
here.
being with
Thank
us.
you.